everybody. Doing an introduction video here. My name is Brandon Brown. This is my 2022 R7. Content I'm looking at making. So a lot of technical stuff, installations of parts on the bike, modifications, kind of reviews on whatever I do and how it feels to me. A brief introduction on my experience with motorcycles. I have one since I was 18. Started on Ninja 250, 2005. Went from that straight to a 06 CBR 1000. Had a lot of fun with that. Went from that to a 09 R1, and then I ended up tracking that R1 and had a 2014 Yamaha VMAX, which that thing was a ton of fun. Sold the VMAX, got another R1 2013, and I have it set up just for track at this point. Looking to get a street bike, so that's what pointed me to this. I know this is not the fastest thing, especially coming from pretty much all 1000s and 1700cc VMAX. I knew this was not going to be just a stupid fast machine. I got this specifically for the road, and I wanted something nimble, something on the smaller side. Looked at an R3, basically just for the weight and the flickability of it. I wanted something super light and super I could just strip down, turn to nothing basically, and just throw it around corners. But the R3, just not enough power there. So this was obviously the next step up, and I feel like this is the perfect bike for what I was looking for. So I guess to start, you can obviously see the mirrors are taken off. The little reflectors down here at the bottom, taking these little reflectors off, and there's also a bracket here. I've taken that bracket off. There's typically, it holds these the line here, and I just use zip ties to kind of hold this fast here. From everything I've read, apparently this front wheel speed sensor, you don't need it when you delete ABS, so eventually this will be going. Let's see. You can see the rear end is torn down right now. I have it basically prepped for the fender eliminator. I have all that taken off. That way when it gets here I can just throw it on. I've taken the passenger pegs off. Do plan on getting a lightweight battery eventually. I am putting carbon fiber back here on the rear. Not these. These are going back on, but the inner pieces are going to be carbon fiber. As well as these side covers will be carbon, and then this will be carbon. Less for weight and more for just the personal look of it. I think those all in carbon with this livery would look so sick. So eventually carbon levers. It does have a quick shifter right now, the Danos Performance, and it is in GP shift. That's how I run the race bike, so it's easier for me to just have this already set up for it, so going back and forth. This is set up on the factory quick shifter, so it's not a standalone system. It does good. It's really just for full acceleration. Anything in between, putzing around, it doesn't really like it, which is to be expected. I mean, you really don't need it. It still cuts, but you just relieve the pressure a little bit on the clutch when you do it, and it's buttery smooth. So I do have this Amazon exhaust. I plan on getting the the Yoshi full titanium system when they release that. They haven't come out with it yet, so for the meantime, I am gonna get this bike dynoed, completely stock. Stock chain, stock sprockets, exhaust, intake, everything. Snorkel, I'm not going to touch it. Get the base numbers, and then I'll put this on, get numbers on it. Probably go aluminum, smaller chain, aluminum sprocket, smaller chain. We'll do the airbox mods, the basic ones. And then when Yoshi comes out with their racing airbox, I do plan to get it too. I have those reserved already. So the only real modification I've done, other than just taking things off, is the R6 throttle tube. I love it. It's just like the R1 that I have, and probably the VMAX as well. Those do have power modes, but those are all computer based, where this is just a straight up throttle body like old school. So this does a lot. You can't just change a mode and have different throttle response. So this being like my R1, the same throw, I'm really used to it already. The stock one was just way too much, especially when I was trying to auto blip for downshifting. Having to pull the brake and then try to push this enough to actually get the engine to do anything, it was just not working out. I put probably over 1,000 miles on the stock tube, and it just never got better. As soon as I put this on, I went out and had zero issues. Auto blipping was, I mean, just like the R1. There's just no problem at all. So I definitely recommend that, especially if anybody coming from an R6 or an R1 or anything with a quick turn throttle. It's gonna be like home. It's great. So getting into some of the more technical stuff of how I operate when it comes to stuff. I like seeing things like this. Looking on YouTube, I like finding videos of bikes that are broken down. People showing you kind of what's underneath all this. I mean, just seeing the details of everything. I mean, I feel like it's super helpful if anybody needs to work on anything. And I already have this apart, but when I put the eliminator back on, I'll do a video and putting it all back together. Yeah, it's stuff like this that just I like seeing the under part of bikes, seeing the inners, the wiring, and all that. Okay, so to sum this video up, I know it's been very jumpy. I'm new to this format. I've never really done a video like this. That is kind of where I'm coming from, kind of where I'm looking at going with this new content on this bike, and possibly the channel in the future when it comes to other bikes coming out, like the R9 apparently whenever it eventually drops. I'll probably have some content on my R1 track bike too. I have a lot of stuff for it that I put on it and still plan to do to it. It's actually at the shop right now waiting to get dynoed. It's getting a Woolwich flash, quick shifter, auto up down blip, the full race tools and everything. So it's gonna be a pretty fun bike. But the content on this, very excited for it. I'm excited to get started with it. This kind of is something you guys would be interested in. Go ahead and give me a follow. I do plan to keep videos coming pretty regular. Like I said, I have quite a few parts coming right now for this. I have parts from Yoshi on reserve, and it's going to be pretty cool. The numbers they're claiming for these with the airbox and the exhaust seems really impressive. I'm also interested in possibly the cams and stuff down the road. That does require engine work. I don't know if I want to go that far with it, but we'll see. See how this bike evolves when I start cutting the weight on it. Right now in America, it's hard to find the battery for some reason. Lithium batteries. The only ones I can really find are kind of overseas, and there's not really an option to ship them. Same with the seat cowl. I have a seat cowl coming for this, but for some reason you can't order them in America. I think UK you can order them, but they don't ship them either overseas. I have ordered one from eBay. skeptical. It's not here yet. We'll see if it's a true. It says it's a true Yamaha piece. It says it's red. I believe it's for the R6, which they're supposed to have the same seat cowl. So we'll see. I'll do a review on that when it gets here, see if it fits. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so if you're into seeing everything about these bikes as much as you can, seeing them torn down, putting parts on, fitting them, I plan to do a lot of close-up stuff with the carbon pieces, see how those fit, because I know sometimes that stuff can be finicky, especially when it comes to replacing factory parts on a factory fairing bike. You want everything to fit nice, so, and look nice, and so we'll do the quality and the fitment on these carbon parts that are on the way. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys checking out my video. Like I say, give it a like, a follow. Plan on having a lot more content on the way. I appreciate it. Have a nice day.